thank you, and welcome to Shea Stadium. This place is literally shaking. It is game number 7. National League Championship Series. The St. Louis Cardinals, 3 wins. The New York Mets, 3 wins. The winner tonight goes on to the World Series. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver and Luis Gonzalez are coming right up. Well, the Mets won last night with their backs up against the wall to force tonight. And now when you look at the pitching matchup here in Game 7, for the Mets, there's no Tom Seaver here to pitch. For the Cardinals, there's no Bob Gibson. But as you look at this pitching matchup, Tim McCarver, you're looking at a study in opposites in that Jeff Suppan takes on Oliver Perez.
Jeff Suppan, the established starter, but not so Oliver Perez. And for that reason, Willie Randolph telling us that this is going to be the most crucial decision of the series, and for Mets fans, perhaps the year. And that's how long do you go with Oliver Perez? Will he be wild? Will he be in that right rhythm? Tell you, early hook, late hook, it better be the right hook for Willie Randolph and the Mets.
So Oliver Perez and Jeff Suppan, the pitching matchup. Now Luis Gonzalez was the hero for the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 2001 World Series, game number 7. And Louis, tell us what it's like for a player to go through the day getting ready for a Game 7.
Well, after last night's loss, Tony La Russa told his team to get ready for the most memorable experience of their life. I tell you, you cannot eat, sleep. Every player is anticipating this Game 7. Everybody's playing for that ultimate prize to get to the World Series.
A date with Detroit on Saturday night. That's what's on the line here this evening in New York. We get ready for baseball Game 7. Which team will go? Will it be the Mets, the top team in the National League all season long? Or will it be the Cardinals? Fewest wins among any of the playoff teams, but getting contributions from all over the place. A date in the World Series on the line tonight on Fox.
Shall we raise our shields, Captain?
At ease, Mr. Chekhov. Again with the shields. I wish he'd just relax and enjoy the amazing picture clarity of the DirecTV HD we just hooked up. With what Starfleet just ponied up for this big screen TV, settling for cable would be illogical. What? I can't use that line?
For picture quality that beats cable, you've got to get DirecTV.
Take a look at the lineup for Tony La Russa. Eckstein leads off. He's the shortstop. Preston Wilson is batting the number 2 spot. Then Albert Pujols hits 3rd. Cleaning up, Juan Encarnacion in right. Jim Edmonds in center. Scott Rowland is in the lineup tonight at 3rd base. Yadier Molina bats 7th. Ronnie Belliard at 2nd base. And Jeff Suppan is pitching and batting 9th. Oliver Perez makes the start for the Mets on short rest and misses high with ball 1. There are the numbers from Game 4 of victory. He was good, not great. 5 earned runs on 9 hits in under 6 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Green and Beltran. It's Beltran, 1 out. The NLCS is brought to you by Budweiser Select. Brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. Expect everything. The Mets do not know what to expect out of Oliver Perez. But he has taken care of the Cardinal leadoff hitter, David Eckstein, and now Preston Wilson, who is a lifetime .310 hitter here at Shea Stadium. Takes on the 25-year-old lefty.
Only 5 pitches, but so far Perez is sharper than he was the last time out.
Two out. Oliver's pitcher profile is brought to you by Exxon and Mobile Retailers.
Jim Tracy is the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we talked to him about 2 hours before game time. He said Oliver Perez must not fall toward third in his follow-through. He's got to stay locked in on Paul Lo Duca, and he is anything but afraid.
Strike one. One RBI in this NLCS for Albert Pujols as we play in this 7th game.
And Perez is a guy, he has to get locked in a rhythm, and if he does and continues to throw this velocity, it could be a long night for the Cardinals.
Delgado drops it. It's a fair ball, and Pujols will end up at second base. Right out in front of the plate. Lo Duca stayed away. Wright was in the neighborhood. Delgado tried to make the play and could not.
Whenever you see an infielder turn glove over, he's going to have a tough time with the ball. He can't read it. Whenever you try to catch a ball like that, basket style, that first base mid is not conducive to doing that. That ball bounced out by a good margin. And then Delgado had hit his bare hand, and Pujols ends up on second base.
You see him not hustling out of the box. He would not have gone farther than second base on that play. That's where he is with 2 out. And Encarnacion strikes one. Swings and fouls it. Now Encarnacion has the chance to do what the Cardinals could not do last night when they ended up leaving the bases loaded in the first inning. Trying to get on top and take advantage of that error by Delgado. Just missing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, and after that play right there, Perez just wants to get back on the mound and do what he did to the first 2 hitters. Go right after him. He even beat Pujols on a good pitch there to pop it out. He felt like he should have been out of the inning, but now he's got to bear down and go right back after this guy.
Encarnacion 6 out of 20 in his career against Oliver Perez. Pops it up out behind the second base position. Green. And a good job by Perez to get around the 2-out error. Now the Mets come up. Bottom of the first, no score. Take a look at the Mets lineup. It's the same group in the same order as Willie Randolph has put down on paper night after night. Reyes, Lo Duca, Beltran at the top. Delgado, Wright, Green in the middle. Valentin and Chavez before the pitcher, Oliver Perez. In the middle of all the action is Jeff Suppan, who was terrific in Game 3. 8 innings, no runs, 3 hits, and his pitcher profile is brought to you by Exxon and Mobile Retailers.
Fastball and a cutter. The cutter will run away from a right-hander from Suppan and in on a left-hander. Curveball, changeup. He pitches to contact. That means he doesn't strike out a lot of batters, and pitching with a world of confidence.
Strike one from Suppan, who has made a Game 7 start. He did against the Houston Astros back in 2004. And he was the winning pitcher, taking on Roger Clemens. Cardinals went on to the World Series and were swept by the Red Sox. That's strike 2 on Reyes.
You know, and Tim, when you talk about pitching to contact, he tries to stay away from the middle of the plate. If he keeps the ball over the middle of the plate, that's where he gets hurt. Suppan is at his best when he's throwing pitches off the corners a little bit and up and down in the zone to change the hitter's eye level.
Big night last night for Reyes. 3 for 4 with a home run, 2 stolen bases. To the shortstop, Eckstein. Out at first. 1 away. And the batter will be Loduca, who was part of that group, had a chance to catch the pop-up by Albert Pujols. And after the Mets came off the field, David Wright doing a lot of the talking with Delgado and Sandy Alomar after this play.
You could see Perez with his left hand cupped around his mouth. He was calling Delgado all the way. And that is old school baseball for the pitcher to take control of those situations. Delgado put his hand up, but Perez making sure the right guy attempted to make the catch. He just dropped it.
Loduca takes a strike.
You know, and a lot of times with this crowd so big as it is, it doesn't matter if you're standing right next to a player. You have to use your arms or, you know, waving in the air because you really can't hear at times out on the field.
1 out, bases empty, 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Suppan is making his 8th career postseason start. He's 3-3, including that Game 3 win back in St. Louis, a 5-0 victory where he was dominant. Just a 12-game winner during the regular season. 1-1 pitch. To Roland, gets a nice hop right up into his gut. 2 out.
Here's Oliver Perez once again with his hand cupped, saying, Carlos, Carlos, right there. You know nobody can hear you, but you yell anyway.
Delgado is on deck, and Beltran digs his way in. What he's done in this series, and at the bottom what he's done this postseason. Strike 1 from Suppan. Career postseason home runs for Beltran in only 21 games. 7 of those 11 against Cardinal pitching. 3 in this series. In at the knees, it's 0-2. The LCS career numbers for Beltran against the Cardinals are staggering. 362 average, 7 home runs, 9 RBIs, 19 runs. He's backed up on the count here 0-2 with 2 out, nobody on. Breaking ball, and Beltran checks his swing.
That's a good 0-2 pitch, enticing to Beltran out of the strike zone, and Beltran almost bit. Good pitch by Suppan.
With 2 out, Beltran takes ball 2. The opposite way, pass rolling into left. Preston Wilson will make the play. Beltran digging for second, and he is safe with a double.
Excellent base running by Beltran with 2 out. Running hard out of the box. Nice hitting, going the other way. Hard out of the box, and watch the slide to the right field side of the bag, and that's why he was safe at second and not out. Good throw by Wilson. Watch the slide to the outside part of the bag, and the tag is late.
By that much, the inning continues for Delgado.
Yeah, what helped him get that double was he was thinking double right out of the box. There was no hesitation when he was leaving the batter's box.
Delgado was 0 for 3 against Suppan in Game 3. And Molina goes out to talk now that the Mets have a runner at second, as they will make sure on their signs. And it's our MasterCard keys to the game here in Game 7.
Well, the Mets didn't do that in the top of the first inning. Had a chance with Pujols on at second. But Willie Randolph's management of the bullpen, imperative. But if Oliver Perez throws in the succeeding innings like he did in the first, you may not need the bullpen early.
Perez pitching around a 2-out error by Delgado. Delgado trying to put New York out on top. Takes the ball inside. Struggling David Wright on deck. Delgado in this park during the postseason has hit .429 with 3 home runs.
Talked about that cut fastball earlier. That's what that cutter does. Goes in on a left-handed hitter. Acts like a slider, but it's actually a fastball.
Delgado takes a strike over the outside corner. Good pitch. 2 hits allowed in 38 at-bats by the Cardinals with runners in scoring position and 2 out during this postseason, and both came last night in the same inning in that 2-run 7th. Big hit, Loduca, the 2-run single. That made it 4-0, and that's held on to win it 4-2.
Think about that sequence. 2 fastballs inside, a regular one and a cutter, then the fastball on the outside corner, and then the curveball and a fastball count. This guy can pitch.
Full count. Delgado takes a walk. It's up to David Wright. The numbers during the regular season for this 23-year-old third baseman are terrific. He was the starting third baseman for the National League All-Star team. .311 for the year, 26 home runs, 116 RBIs. So far in this NLCS, hitting only .143 with 1 home run.
And sometimes, Joe, it's how you make the outs. David Wright is not putting the ball in play enough to right field. He's trying to jerk everything, and when you do that, you pull off the ball, hit the ball with the end of the bat and not the sweet spot.
Strike 1. These fans do not care what David Wright has done in games 1 through 6. If he can come through here in Game 7 in the first inning and give the Mets a lead. A little flare down the right field line. That ball is going to fall for a hit. Mets take the lead.
Well, he didn't have this exactly in mind going to right field, but certainly Wright will take it. Jammed on the pitch. Boy, is that irritating to a pitcher. You make the pitch, and a guy just muscles it the other way.
I think what he did good there was he's kept his hands inside of the ball instead of trying to muscle it and pull it he just stayed with it, stayed inside of it, and was able to flare it out in the right.
A chance for more now. First and third, 2 out. Green takes a strike from Suppan. A 2-out double by Beltran, a walk to Delgado, and a flare hit to right by David Wright. And a 1-0 Mets lead here in the first inning. One ball, one strike. Green to Roland. And the inning is over. But the Mets, as they did last night in Game 6, strike first. Beltran got it started. David Wright brought him home. 1-0 New York after 1. Second inning now, 1-0 New York out in front, and Perez back to work. Edmonds rips one through the right side. One pitch and a base hit. Edmonds, who homered against Perez back in Game 4, gets the single through the right side, and the Cardinals put their leadoff man on with Roland coming up. There was a lot of debate as to whether Scott Rolen would be in the lineup tonight for Tony La Russa. Did not look good last night for his first 3 at-bats. Got a hit off Billy Wagner in the 9th inning on a slider. Has had trouble with his bad left shoulder catching up to good fastballs this entire postseason. Perez has a good fastball, and Roland pops it up. Shallow center for Beltran. 1 on, 1 out. Oliver Perez, like so many pitchers, not stepping on the foul line on his way. He kind of goes to the extreme.
Yeah, that is very colorful. Like a broad jump.
Got around an error in the first, trying to get around a leadoff hit here in the second. Here's Yadier Molina. Moving up 1 spot in the order. Batting 7th, and he takes a strike.
But Joe, that's what you were talking about with Scott Rolen, though. I mean, that pitch upstairs, he just cannot turn on it.
And I think the frustrating aspect to it for La Russa, Rolen, the Cardinals, is that La Russa and Rolen aren't speaking. So La Russa's going off what he sees from the dugout and video he gets after the game to determine whether Rolen's shoulder is okay for him to play. But he's not getting it from Rolen. La Russa thinks it's been the approach and his swing, not the shoulder, that's held him back in this postseason. But he's going off a judgment he gets watching from the dugout and on television, which is hard to imagine, but that's the way it's going now between those two. Here's an 0-2 pitch, 1 on, 1 out. Yadier Molina out in front of him.
Notice how free Molina was in that slider. That's the freedom that Scott Rolen does not have with this swing right now. Perez throws that ball right above the waist. Now that ball was out over the plate, but Scott has proven time and time again he can't get around on that pitch, and the Mets obviously are going to keep pounding him up.
Not only can't do anything with the pitch, but so far can't lay off the pitch.
No, that's right. And not fouling it back.
And not only that, this game relies a lot on confidence. When a player has confidence, you can bloop a couple balls out there, then all of a sudden you have confidence. But when you're not swinging the bat well and not getting hits, it weighs on your mind a lot more.
Here's an 0-2 and a little flare down the left field line. This ball is trouble. It's a base hit. Going first to third is Edmonds with good base running. Molina holds it first, and it's first and third, 1 out. So like the Mets got in the bottom of the first, a flare to right, Molina gets off the hands as he drops it into left.
You take more chances with 1 out. Excellent base running by Jim Edmonds. The play right in front of him. There's no reason to use that third base coach on that play. Molina is slow of foot and stops it first. Just great base running by Edmonds.
And there's a perfect example of confidence. Now he's 1 for 1. He feels good about himself going into his second at-bat in the night.
David Wright, a flare right.
Exactly.
Here's Belliard with first and third, one out. A switch in the lineup with Belliard batting in the 8th spot, ball 1. That's where Oliver Perez will miss when he's going poorly, and that's what Jim Tracy, Tim, talked to you about, that pitch that drifts up and away.
That's exactly right. When the front side bails out and goes toward third, this is usually where that ball ends up. The fastball up and away off the plate to Luduca.
1 ball, 1 strike.
We may not have explained that Perez came to the Mets from Pittsburgh and played for Jim Tracy. And as Joe pointed out, that is where the problem lies. You see a lot of those pitches, 5, 6 in the first 3 innings. He's going to have problems.
First and third, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike on Belliard. Bunting to the right side. Coming in to score is Edmonds, and on basically a safety squeeze and a bunt for the RBI from Belliard, it's a 1-1 game.
Yeah, the difference between a safety squeeze and a regular play is a safety squeeze, the runner doesn't take off until contact is made on the ground. Belliard pushing the ball to the second baseman, and that was beautifully done with the pitcher coming up next. Watch Edmonds. He doesn't break initially, but waits till the ball is on the ground before he comes home.
So now it's Suppan, runner at second, 2 out. And can you believe that a guy that just swung the bat like that homered in game 3? He did. Off Traxel.
Well, I tell you, for the Cardinals, that's a huge confidence builder, especially after the Mets scored in the bottom half of the first inning. To come back and score here in the top half of the second kind of puts that crowd back in a lull.
There's the home run from game number 3 for Suppan. And the count's 0-2 as it was when he homered against Traxel back in St. Louis. Go ahead run at second. Yadier Molina. The outfield is shallow, and Molina does not run well at all. Little did the Mets know when they made that deal, Tim, on July 31st with Pittsburgh, basically to help their bullpen with Roberto Hernandez coming to the Mets, that the guy they viewed as a project, Oliver Perez, would be on the mound for them in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series.
Unbelievable.
They have had to rebuild him fast. And he ends the inning with a strikeout. But the Cardinals in the second tie the game, a bunt by Belliard. And now with Valentin, Chavez, and Perez coming up, we're tied 1-1. For the Mets, it'll be the bottom 3, Valentin, Chavez, and Oliver Perez against Jeff Suppan. We're allowed 2 hits, a walk, stranded a couple, a 1-1 game. A sacrifice bunt for an RBI by Ronnie Belliard in the top of this inning. We get it back even. Game 7 from Shea, and a tailing pitch doesn't tail enough. Ball 1 to Valentin. Jose has really struggled down the stretch, and since the 19th of September here at home at Shea, hitting .086. Belliard and Encarnacion, and it's the taller Encarnacion who comes away with it. 1 out, and Valentin is 3 out of his last 36 here at Shea. Here is Jeff Suppan talking about trying to quiet his emotions for this start.
I think what happens as a starting pitcher is you try to control that rush. You know, you try to make things simple. You know, basically when I go out there, I concentrate on 2 different types of things. 1, what pitch I'm going to throw, and 2, where I'm going to throw it. And when you keep it simple like that, that actually helps you control that rush, that adrenaline.
He misses down and in, ball one to Chavez.
It's almost like an NFL quarterback talking about controlling the rush. But think about how simple Jeff has made it. Select the pitch and put it where you want to.
And I think it's a lot easier when you're a veteran player to control that because you've been in different types of situations. If you're a younger pitcher, it's a lot different.
Chavez fouls it back, and Supan's been in this similar situation, albeit at home against the Astros back in 04 when he made the Game 7 start. In a battle with Roger Clemens, a victory for the Cardinals, and now here he is 2 years later, Game 7 at Shea. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chavez with 1 out. Takes ball 2. Chavez to Pujols to the bag for out number 2. Here are the numbers from that Game 7 in 04. Roger Clemens went 6. Supan went 6. Supan allowing just 3 hits, was helped on a tremendous running catch by Jim Edmonds in center that night. And against Roger Clemens, one of the biggest blows was a home run that Scott Rowland hit to help the Cardinals to victory on into the World Series. Oliver Perez hits it in the air to left to Preston Wilson, and the Mets go in order in the second. Third inning, top of the order will bat for each side. This game tied 1-1. This city is buzzing talking about the Mets as David Eckstein takes a ball up and away to get the third inning underway. Eckstein, Wilson, and Albert Pujols for St. Louis. If anybody gets on, Encarnacion. 2-0. We talk about control for Perez. It is an issue. He averages 4.9 walks per 9 innings pitched, which is the 3rd highest ratio among active pitchers in baseball. Finds the strike zone there, 2-1. Pedro Martinez, a huge loss, obviously, when he went down first with the calf and then with a rotator cuff. That's really with one established starter this postseason, and that established starter, by the way, Tom Glavine, was lightly tossing before tonight's game and may be available if the Mets need him to come out of their bullpen. A 3-1. Eckstein was taking full count. Earlier this afternoon, about 2.5 hours before the ball game, Glavine just getting the arm loose. 3-2 pitch. Eckstein hits it down the line, fair toward the corner, and Eckstein will dig for second. Chavez will dig it out of the corner, and David Eckstein has the first extra base hit of the night for St. Louis.
How about Eckstein taking 5 fastballs and then he turns on one? We talked about Scott Rowland earlier. He can't turn on that high fastball. Well, David Eckstein just turned on one for a double. Talk about all the injuries that both Scott Rowland and David Eckstein have, with that left shoulder being prominent. Eckstein hurting his 2 throwing fingers, the index finger, middle finger on the right hand, and his left shoulder.
Now how will the Cardinals play it with Preston Wilson? Runner at second, nobody out. Pujols on deck, and Wilson takes a ball inside.
I think too much power to bunt with him right here. There's Mookie Wilson, the Mookster. Ever so popular in this ballpark.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the bad thing about not bunting is Preston Wilson strikes out a lot, 177 times 3 years ago.
Wilson struck out his first time. In the hole here, 1-2. Good rip at a high delivery from Oliver Perez for Preston Wilson, who, as I mentioned, is a lifetime .310 hitter here at Shea Park, where he grew up watching his stepfather Mookie play for the Mets.
Well, I think right now the most important thing for Preston is to try to move that runner somehow to move X time from second to third, so they almost have to pitch to Pujols.
To combat that, Perez is coming inside on him.
Back in there, and Wilson strikes out, one away.
First baseman, Albert Pujols.
Wilson down on strikes his first time up on a similar pitch, but clearly you could see Perez going with the fastball. Actually, the breaking ball on the first pitch. And Wilson swings at a bad ball. Fouls back a pitch with the fastball and gets it.
An intentional pass being handed to Albert Pujols with first base open. On deck is Encarnacion. Last night the Mets did this with Albert Pujols up in the third inning. Left it to Edmonds and Encarnacion. They could not come through. The Cardinals left a lot of scoring chances out there early last night. Could not recover. Lost the game 4-2, and that's why these two teams are hooking up here in Game 7. 2 on with 1 out.
And that was the importance right there of Preston Wilson not being able to get that runner to third base, because more likely than not, Perez probably would have had to pitch to Pujols with first and second base open.
Well, if you do decide to walk him, you have the double play in order with Encarnacion up there.
Encarnacion is 6 out of 21 in his career against Oliver Perez, and that's why he is batting behind Pujols to try and give him protection. Strike one.
Good slider out of the strike zone, Encarnacion.
Two.
Wins a game in the postseason. He's got an army following him.
2 on, 1 out. 0-2 pitch. We'll do it again.
Doesn't take long, does it?
It's a little Elvis Costello reference. Oliver's Army, and with Jim Edmonds on deck, Edmonds has singled and scored the only run of the night for St. Louis. Encarnacion is backed up on the count 0-2. 2 on, 1 out. Eckstein and Pujols the runners. Spoiling the pitch is Encarnacion. Shattered bat right at third. Out at second, double play. A walk to Pujols, and the inning ender. Still 1-1. Top of the order for the Mets here in the third inning. Reyes, Loduca, Beltran against Jeff Suppan. 1-1 in Game 7. Strike one. Reyes gets under it, flies it into right. Encarnacion drifting for out number 1. How about Saturday? How about Game 1 of the World Series? It returns to the Motor City for the first time in 22 years. Game 1 on Fox Saturday night with coverage beginning at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Jim Leyland has yet to announce his pitching rotation. He is waiting to see who the opponent will be. Will it be the Mets and Willie Randolph, or his buddy Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals? Loduca grounded out his first time up. He hit it to third back in the first, and he hits it to third here in the third. 2 out. Carlos Beltran will be the hitter, and he is, Carlos, it's your lucky night. You're our HP player personality. HP, the computer is personal again as ball 1 drifts low for Beltran.
It's lucky night, huh?
Lucky night. The world knows more about the center fielder for the Mets. Batting with 2 out and nobody on in a 1-1 game. 1 ball, 1 strike from Suppan. Jeff Suppan is a 31-year-old right-hander, and the Mets are the only team in baseball that he's faced has compiled a lifetime ERA of under 3, and it's actually 1.85 in his career against the Mets. 2 balls and a strike. Made 7 starts, a 4-1 record. His team is 6-1. The Mets have hit only .216 against Suppan. Those are career numbers. He's behind on the count to Beltran. 2 balls and a strike. 2 out, nobody on, and that's a pop-up. Preston Wilson. Tim and Louie, it's a good game. 1-1 is the score as we go to inning number 4, and Oliver Perez heads back to work. Oliver Perez went 1-3 with the Mets after they picked him up. 2-10 to start the year with the Pirates, so 3-13 overall. And that big ERA of over 6. He's allowed 1 run on 3 hits, and he starts Edmonds with a strike over the outside corner.
It's worth repeating, and we talked about it during his first start, that he was the opening day pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates the last 2 years. So the talent is there if he can corral it.
On the corner again, it's 0-2.
2 breaking balls to Edmonds.
That's a tough pitch for a left-handed hitter because that breaking ball is sweeping away from that lefty.
Edmonds sticks the bat out and hits it to left. Chavez. 1 out. Scott Rowland will be the hitter, and we continue to talk about his inability to get on top of high fastballs. This is last night. One after the other. The one he caught up to was a slider from Billy Wagner in the 9th inning. Went for a double his first time up tonight. He popped it into shallow center. And you have to believe, as you go back to that fly ball to center, that Perez will stay with the hard stuff against Scott Rowland.
I would certainly think so, especially after the double on the slider last night.
Fighting off a fastball, 93 miles per hour. It's 0-2. Tony La Russa had other options. He obviously had Spezio to start at third. And he could have used So Taguchi in the lineup tonight. That was a consideration, Tony telling us before the game, because Taguchi's been red hot. 4 for 4 this postseason with 2 home runs. Ball 1.
And guys, I'll tell you, I've had shoulder and elbow injuries to my lead shoulder hitting. You find a way to try to get it through, but you really, when you cannot extend through that ball, it's tough.
Two and 2. .52 pitches through 3 1/3.
4 straight high fastballs to Rolen. Another one.
This one squirts away, a full count now. The only walk that Perez has issued tonight, an intentional walk to Pujols' last inning. And it worked for the Mets as Encarnacion followed with a double play ball. Cardinals have left 3, the Mets have left 2. Down the line, but foul. John Maine, who was the hero last night in Game 6, could not have given the Mets and their fans any more than he gave. 5 1/3, no runs on 2 hits. Another foul. Asking the home plate umpire, Tim Welke, if that ball was inside.
I think you almost do Rolen a favor when you're pitching him in like that, because he doesn't have to try to extend. He just tucks his arms in and just tries to get through that ball.
Well, the key thing is what the Mets are trying to do is to keep it up, whether it's inside or outside. All fastballs to Rolen thus far.
Rolen pops it up. Third baseman David Wright. 2 out.
I think what you are about to see on our graphics is one of the most important statistics in baseball. This year in the major leagues, when the lead runner got on, he scored 43% of the time. With 1 out, he scored 30% of the time. And with 2 outs, 15% of the time. So dramatic difference. If you can impress that on young pitchers in the minor leagues, that is so vital to success in the big leagues.
Strike 1 now to Yadier Molina. So far the Cardinals tonight at 50% when they put their leadoff man on. Molina with a base hit in the left, his first time up, set up first and third with good base running by Edmonds, and then the bunt for a sacrifice by Belliard on a safety squeeze to tie the game at 1. Good pitch from Perez. 1-2.
If you find yourself standing at home, it's okay. It's all right.
Just stay by the TV.
Right.
Molina, a flare down the right field line, and Sean Green is there to end the inning. Who's coming up for the Mets? Delgado.
Keep bouncing.
Pitching matchup, Suppan on your left, Oliver Perez on your right. Heart of the order for the Mets here in the 4th inning, starting with Delgado. 1-1 game, and a breaking ball drops in for strike 1. If you count spring training, these two teams have been pulling on their sanitary socks, pulling on these uniforms, running out on the diamond, hitting, fielding, pitching, running for 7.5 months. All with a dream of getting to the World Series. And here are these two clubs, the Mets and the Cardinals, 1 win away. A 1-1 score, bottom of the fourth, and a 1-1 count on Carlos Delgado.
For those of you who may not know what sanitary socks are, they're used exclusively in baseball, and they're rarely seen anymore because the way the players are wearing their pants down low. Players refer to those as sannies.
Inside pitch. Suppan does not get it. Now that's the 2-in-1 variety. That's the
Right.
red stripe that's a part of one sock with the white around it. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Delgado, first up in the inning, and that's low. 3-1. We had a chance to visit with Tony La Russa during the last break. David Wright on deck, and then Sean Green. Delgado can sit on a pitch with a count in his favor, 3-1. Out of play, full count.
See, this is what makes Suppan such a tough pitcher. He's changed speeds on three different fastballs that he's thrown. So it gives the hitter a different look. And then he's thrown the changeup in there also. So hitters are kind of trying to guess and gauge speed on the pitcher, and he continues to change it on him all the time.
He's tough to guess with.
A 3-2 pitch. Delgado takes ball 4. Here's our talk with Cardinal manager Tony La Russa. Will Tony La Russa assess what you're seeing so far from Jeff Suppan? He is doing more of the same from Game 3 back in St. Louis.
Well, really impressive, Joe. Yeah, I agree. Just more of what he did the other day. Just got to keep it going. But he's moving the ball around. His command has been excellent, and that's what you need against this team.
We have seen Oliver Perez hang in there for the Mets. This is shaping up to be an exciting game. What did you tell your team when you got them together last night after the Game 6 loss?
Well, you want to be able to enjoy the seventh game. It's a rare opportunity in sports, and the way you enjoy it is to feel like you got ready and then you do everything you can to feel good afterwards. You got no regrets that you left something out. So, you know, we're going after it right. We have missed a couple of chances, but, I mean, it's all ahead of us.
Thanks for your time and good luck.
All right.
All ahead of each team as the game is in the fourth. First pitch is strike to David Wright. Leadoff man is on. Delgado. Second time he's walked tonight. Wright with an RBI base hit. His first time up. To the left side for Rolen. Out at second and safely first.
Ball not hit sharply enough to turn the double play. Rolen backing up, making sure of one. Belliard's return throw way late at first base.
Sean Green hops in. Sean lined out to third with 2 runners on his first time up. Our Verizon Wireless game summary: David Wright, an RBI hit. Ronnie Belliard with a sacrifice bunt for an RBI. The Cardinals won for their last 19 with runners in scoring position. What a rip by Green.
Good fastball, good cut. David Wright at shortstop last night. Carlos Beltran was on at second base, and he had a tough time seeing the ball when it was hit. It appears to me right now that Jerry Lane could be to the left of David Eckstein. It would make it a lot easier to see the ball off the bat if one's hit his way.
Check on the runner Wright. Now Wright is a stolen base threat. He stole 20 during the regular season, and last night Yadier Molina, great arm and all, allowed 3 Mets stolen bases. Part of their attack and their 4-2 win. The 0-1 on the inside corner, 0-2.
That's what right-handed pitchers have to do against this Met lineup. With 6 left-handers facing the right-handers, that includes 3 switch hitters. You've got to come inside for strikes. If you don't, you allow them to extend their arms and they wear you out.
0-2 breaking balls low, ball one. Both in recent LCS history and World Series history, 11 straight times when a home team has won Game 6, they have gone on to win Game 7. One-two pitch. Green strikes out. Foul tip hung on to by Molina, 2 down. And the first strikeout for Suppan.
Change up. So fastball away, fastball inside, curveball misses, and now the straight change. When he's throwing right, he can put on a clinic. He is a nasty right-hander.
Now Valentin. Willie Randolph has stayed with Jose Valentin throughout. 5 out of 31 this postseason. All 5 hits coming in this LCS. Dirt, ball one. Ball one strike with Valentin out in front of that pitch. Perez is through 4. Suppan trying to get there and trying to keep it a 1-1 game. Valentin rips it foul.
You know, a lot of times when the pitcher's throwing all his pitches for strikes, early in the count, a hitter would look for a certain pitch. But when Suppan is throwing the way he is right now, throwing everything for strikes, it makes it a lot tougher on that hitter.
To sit on one pitch, right?
Yadier Molina going through signs as if there's a runner out at second base.
I was thinking the same thing. That's because of television.
Oh, that came up and hit Valentin in the face.
Home plate umpire Tim Welke will get help right here from third base umpire Phelan Colbert. He was obviously hit in the face. I think the ball hit the ground first, didn't it?
Looked like it. It happened so fast, and Valentin spun out of there. Yep, bounced off the dirt and then up into the mouth. So Valentin will head down to first base with 2 on 2 out, and now Endy Chavez will be the hitter. Chavez so far is 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position this postseason. And only 1 for 16 with runners on, yet the Mets hope that Endy Chavez, the replacement for the injured Cliff Floyd, can deliver here in the 4th inning and give New York the lead. Strike 1. A light mist is falling here at Shea Stadium, and there is rain on the way. heavy rain. Andy Chavez gets under it and pops it into right center field. Edmonds calls for it. The Mets have now left 4. We've played 4. Game 7 is tied at 1. Back after this from your local Fox station. New in 3 weeks. First pitch is strike to Ronnie Belliard, who's trying to get on in front of the Cardinal pitcher Jeff Suppan, and then David Eckstein here in the 5th inning. One ball, one strike. It's that rocking part to the delivery of Oliver Perez that the Mets have worked the most on with him. We talked about in his Game 4 start, not so much the mechanics within the delivery, but how he starts it.
Continue to rock on that back leg, but rock in a balanced fashion. The problem with that windup is you become too quick with the front side. It's the same thing for hitters. Throwing and hitting are very, very similar. Hitters try to stay closed, and so do pitchers.
Belliard grounds a base hit through the left side, and the Cardinals put their leadoff man on here in the 5th inning. And that will give Suppan a chance to bunt.
Four straight sliders, and Belliard takes advantage of the 4th one. Finds a hole.
So it has paid off, this little switch here at the bottom of the lineup for Tony La Russa. Molina moving up a spot. Belliard down a spot. Now the bunt by Suppan is perfect. Down to second is Belliard. The sacrifice off the bat of Suppan. That's his 3rd of this series, and the go-ahead run at second with 1 out here in the 5th.
David Eckstein.
Jeff Suppan has pitched 8 shutout innings in Game 3. Dropped down 2 bunts in that game for sacrifices. Hit a home run. Towed the slab here tonight in Game 7. He is working a strong effort here tonight. 1 run on 2 hits through 4 innings, and now he drops down a bunt to put Belliard into scoring position for Eckstein. There's not much more that Jeff Suppan could be doing for his team.
No.
Guys, when this game started, we thought that Oliver Perez would be out there. And the first sign of trouble, whether it was the 1st inning or the 2nd inning or the 3rd inning, activity would start for the Mets in their bullpen. But that's how well Perez has pitched to this point. They've been quiet out there all night. That may change here in the 5th. 2 balls and a strike now on Eckstein.
Well, nothing in baseball can quiet a crowd like good pitching.
Good numbers in his career, albeit in limited work for Perez here at Shea. Eckstein hits it down the left field line. Going to get it is Andy Chavez, and this ball is missed by Chavez. Had a shot at it, but could not come up with it. And the count 2-2.
Nice effort by Chavez. Didn't know where the wall was. Luis, you tell me. I mean, for most outfielders, if there's a problem with the wall and the ball, you get to the wall first, right?
Yeah, you really do. He went a long way to go get that ball, but it hung up there long enough to where you need to try to get there as quick as you can to make that play, especially in your own home ballpark.
And then you can always back up because you know where the wall is, right?
Chavez couldn't get there to make the play, and now Eckstein is hit by the pitch to send him down to first. So mark that play down the left field line. Chavez nearly coming up with the 2nd out here in the 5th. He can't make the catch on the foul ball, and then Eckstein is hit on the edge of his left shoe to put 2 on here in the 5th inning.
Well, David Eckstein, like most of us, has 20 digits. 10 fingers, 10 toes. He's been hit on 2 fingers and 2 toes in 6 games. Got 6.5 games.
Roberto Hernandez is getting loose. I was so interested to see where that was going when he started down that path.
I was too.
Preston Wilson has had 2 at-bats. He's up now, and he has struck out twice tonight. Quick visit from Willie Randolph with Hernandez getting loose. 2 on with 1 out. And a breaking ball in for a strike from Oliver Perez. On deck, Albert Pujols. Wilson chased it. It's 0-2.
Another high fastball swung through by Wilson.
Two out.
Now what do you do? Wilson down on strikes for the 3rd time.
And the reason you ask that question is because Albert Pujols is digging in, and Willie Randolph on the top step of the dugout is cheering on Oliver Perez. Realize that Pujols in his career against this left-hander, 9 for 28 with 3 home runs. Willie Randolph played a hunch last night with Mota against Chris Duncan, and he plays a hunch here. Oliver Perez and Albert Pujols, strike 1. Willie Randolph saying at the start of this series, you guys are going to be able to second-guess me all night long because there will be times where I do not go by the book. He is not going by the book right now. Pujols pops it up. Jose Reyes and Willie Randolph says forget the book. He stays with Perez. And this game stays tied at 1. To start the bottom of the 5th inning with the rain falling here at Shea Stadium. Suppan deals and a strike from the Cardinal right-hander. The other story, not just Perez, but Albert Pujols, who now has still 1 RBI in this NLCS as we play here in Game 7. Coming into tonight, he had been up 3 times in this series with somebody in scoring position. He had walked all 3 times. Twice tonight. He had walked once. Perez pitched to him and got him to pop out to short. Preston Wilson goes back to make the play. Perez is gone. We talked with Willie Randolph about his 25-year-old left-hander during the break. Well, Willie Randolph, you told us this is going to be a second-guesser's dream, and you played a hunch right there. I saw you down there cheering on Oliver Perez, and boy, did he come through for you against Albert Pujols.
Well, he competes, man. I don't worry about him going after people. Every once in a while, if you make a mistake, get hurt by a big boy like that. But I have confidence in him. I told him, go get this guy.
Your general manager, Omar Minaya, was impressed with the way that you manage in the division series, and you're letting it all hang out here in the NLCS. Talk to us about what went through your mind knowing that Pujols has had success against Oliver Perez.
Well, you just try to execute a good pitch. I mean, you know, obviously he's a great hitter, but you don't give him too much respect. You know, he's out there trying to do his job and keep us in the ball game. So I believe in my people, and I just said, listen, you make a pick and go get this guy.
This game has not let anybody down. It's been a good one from the start.
Yeah, we need to go a few more runs. It's an exciting one, but we want to finish up strong and win it all.
All right, Willie, thanks for your time.
Guys.
Good luck.
All right.
Willie Randolph, the manager of the Mets. These two teams a win away from going to the World Series. Reyes showed bunt on the first pitch from Suppan, took a strike, and now pops it up. Left center field, and it's Edmonds to his right. 2 out.
I think it's interesting to compare the 2 pitchers tonight and how they go about their jobs. Suppan with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, moving the ball in and out. Perez Powder River, and a good slider. I mean, he just challenged Albert Pujols. Here it is, Albert hit it, and how many pitchers in the National League do that?
There aren't many yet. Pujols drove in 137 during the regular season, a career-high 49 home runs. Had hit 3 in his career against that guy. Oliver Perez finally got a chance with a couple of men on and popped up in the top of this 5th inning of Game 7, keeping it 1-1.
Boy, and I tell you, as these innings get later into the ball game, it gets more gut-wrenching for these ball players. Not only is every swing, every pitch, every play mean so much, but now they have to deal with the elements of rain out here.
Loduca chops it foul. Outside third. Chad Bradford, who's been busy in this series, getting loose. The weather report is that it's going to stay misty until 11. And then the heavy rain is supposed to come down. It is 9:53 on the scoreboard clock here at Shea. The 0-2. Loduca reaching for it. He's tapped out to third twice.
Loduca's mad at himself right now, trying to pull that ball away. One of the better two-strike hitters in the National League. As prone as any right-hander to going to right field with 2 strikes.
Hit 5 home runs during the regular season. Molina sets up out there, and Suppan hits the glove. It's ball 1. The Cardinal dugout still 1-2.
Well, that's what that does. When a right-handed batter is good and adept at going the other way with 2 strikes, the way to counter that is to come back inside. Good fastball tailing in on the hands of Loduca.
Under it into left center field. Edmonds is back in front of the track, and Wilson and Edmonds collide. Preston Wilson made the catch, and Edmonds is injured. This game goes into the 6th inning. Another look at the collision, the out, and we're still tied at 1. How about the job tonight by Oliver Perez? Bradford still getting loose at the first sign of trouble. He figures to take over, but right now it's Encarnacion and a strike on the inside corner. Remember, Oliver Perez is a pitcher that the pitching-starved Pittsburgh Pirates basically gave up on. A 25-year-old left-hander who throws in the mid-90s. And members of that organization, I'm sure, are at home watching, thinking, what did we do?
Talked about Jim Tracy earlier. I mean, here's a guy, 239 strikeouts 2 years ago. Sometimes pitchers present themselves as a mystery to an organization that can't figure it out and have to be dealt. Xavier Nady, a terrific right fielder, is with Pittsburgh. He went over for the Hernandez and Perez deal. Looked like Loduca had one come up under the mask and hit him in the throat. Now the ball bounces down and kind of crawls up the chest protector. If you don't think that hurts, that thing just stuck there.
Counts 2 balls and a strike on Encarnacion. On deck is the left-handed hitting Jim Edmonds. One hop to third. Right. One away. Coming up on 10 o'clock here in the East, We are at Shea Stadium, Game 7 of this National League Championship Series. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Luis Gonzalez with you, and it is our game summary brought to you by Nissan. Jeff Suppan, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. Oliver Perez has gone 5 1/3 with a run on 4 hits allowed, and Albert Pujols still stuck on 1 RBI on that home run that he hit 2 days ago for this entire series. Yet his teammates have pushed the Mets to 7 games. That is on the outside corner, according to Tim Welke, the home plate umpire.
And that's a different look right there. Oliver Perez dropped down sidearm to give Edmonds a different shot there.
You can see why Edmonds was upset, and he had a few extra words for Welke, the home plate umpire, after strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Welke started this series behind home plate, and he will end it there. Crew chief in this NLCS. The 1-1. On deck is Roland, and the bullpen is Bradford. Bradford has handled Roland in each of the last 2 games. Struck him out and got him to bounce into a double play last night. 2-1. Edmonds fooled 2-2.
Good pitch from Perez. A breaking ball and a fastball count. Really has Edmonds just totally befuddled.
Time called prior to the pitch. Ball 3. Edmonds stays up there. That's out of play.
And really, that last pitch might be one of the few times that Perez has shaken off LaDuca to go to something else. Other than that, he's trusted LaDuca behind the plate on every pitch.
Go over it again, says Oliver.
A 1-out walk, and we'll see if that's the last pitch of the night by Oliver Perez. Scott Rowland is coming up. Willie Randolph a check of the lineup card. He's had Bradford getting ready.
Well, he's running out there, not walking. Usually if a manager runs, they'll ask the pitcher how he feels. We'll see if Willie makes the move.
How about Oliver Perez picking the 6th inning for his first unintentional walk? And Randolph's going to leave him in there.
Well, what's interesting is he talked to Oliver Perez, but then he looked in LaDuca's eyes to see, because the pitcher's always going to tell you he feels good, but the catcher's the one that really lets you know.
That's the worst thing, and that's the worst question a manager can ask you. How's he throwing? What are you going to say? Nah, get him out of here. But Willie did. He came out, he looked at Perez, and now he looks at LaDuca. Paul takes his mask off and says, okay, go get him.
Going after Scott Rowland. And Scott Rowland hits one into deep left field. Back at the wall, a leap, and a catch. Andy Chavez takes a home run away and turns it into a double play. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Have you ever seen better? The more you see the replay of the catch by Andy Chavez, the more you appreciate how unbelievable this catch is. To rob Rowland of a 2-run home run and the Cardinals of a 2-run lead. Look where he takes off from.
He catches it, and then it's a snow cone. You see a lot of white coming down, corrals it, and then has the wherewithal to throw to double off Edmonds. Unbelievable.
The double play 7-4-3 to double off Edmonds, and now Beltran, as Suppan goes back to work, takes a strike. Tony La Russa stuck with Rowland tonight, and Rowland was literally inches short in left field of his first postseason home run since Game 7 of the 2004 NLCS when he went deep off Roger Clemens.
You think about that whole scenario. Not only is Tony La Russa stuck with Scott Rowland, but Willie Randolph sticking with Oliver Perez after asking Loduca. And then the next pitch, bang, unbelievable play by Chavez in the double play. Unbelievable.
0-2 now is the count to Carlos Beltran. Ball 1. Now Suppan has the task of going back out there after that heartbreaking catch for the Cardinals on the part of Andy Chavez and try to continue what he's been doing. 1 run on 2 hits as he works the 6th. And a slow roller, Suppan to Pujols. 1 away here in the 6th inning. So the meeting on the mound, Randolph keeping Perez in the game. Rowland hitting it over the wall and left, brought back by Chavez.
You know, and the best part about that play is Chavez. In baseball, you very rarely see a guy come out for a curtain call on defense.
Yeah.
Usually it's for hitting a home run. He not only got 1, he got 2 curtain calls in between innings.
Oh, it was a double play.
With 1 out, nobody on, Delgado lays off a pitch from Suppan. That's the second of the 2 curtain calls.
Might have matched his career total in curtain calls.
A breaking ball for a strike from Suppan to Delgado. We'll think back to Game 1 with Cliff Floyd getting the start in left. His strained left Achilles would not let him continue. Chavez took over in the 3rd inning. He's been in left field since. In this NLCS, he's been a crowd favorite all year long. Willie Randolph saying, I think my daughter wants to marry him. She loves watching him play so much. He's got a great throwing arm. He hit over 300. Hit his way onto this team with a good spring training and a change of attitude. Hitting the ball on the ground and using his speed. And that play he just made in the top of this 6th inning has kept this game tied at 1. 2-1 on Delgado, who has walked twice tonight.
It is interesting to note as the fastball stays in on Delgado. Interesting to note that Andy Chavez, the move that Willie Randolph made in Game 1, is the only move that's been made of the first 8 players, the first 8 Met players during this series.
Delgado takes in the dirt, 3-1.
That's certainly going to be a play talked about for a long time here around New York.
Forever.
3 balls and a strike. Delgado sitting on a 3-1 delivery from Suppan and taking strike 2 over the outside corner.
Delgado thought it was outside. Home plate umpire Tim Welke calls it a strike. Very close. It looked like it had part of the plate. Now Suppan can come back with a curve or the fastball inside.
Delgado walks for the 3rd time tonight. David Wright now. It would be some kind of strength shown by Jeff Suppan if he could come back after watching Chavez pull that ball back into the park, facing the heart of this Mets lineup, and keep it a 1-1 game through 6. He got Beltran on a comebacker. He walks Delgado, and he pitches to David Wright. Strike 1.
That's been the David Wright swing throughout this series. Watch the front side. Pulling off. You mentioned it earlier. You correct that by trying to go to right field. That front side just bailing.
Over but low. David Wright hit 26 home runs during the regular season, but only 5 since the 29th of July, including the postseason. Bradford still getting loose. Jammed, rolling, throws it into the seats. And it'll be 2nd and 3rd with 1 out.
Momentarily thinking about going to second base. Watch the head. Can't tell it there, but in my opinion, he was thinking about perhaps going to second to cut off the lead runner. But he elects to go to first, gets under the ball, and airmails Albert Pujols.
He's either thinking of second base or thinking of being robbed about 5 minutes ago by Andy Chavez in left. The error is the 2nd of the postseason in this series for Rolen. And now the Cardinals elect to walk Sean Green to load the bases. A 1-out walk to Delgado. The throwing error by Scott Rolen on the ball hit by David Wright. Instead of a runner at 2nd and 2 out, it's 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And about to be bases loaded, 1 out with Jose Valentin coming up. And here comes Dave Duncan. Now realize Valentin is 0 for 1 tonight. Hitting .086 coming in, 3 of his last 35, now 3 of his last 36 here at Shea Stadium. He struggled down the stretch, but instead of going to a bat off his bench, Willie Randolph will stay with Valentin with the bases loaded, 1 out.
What infielders think about in this situation is play double play depth. However, if the ball is not hit hard, they do have the option of coming home. Infield's about halfway. Now Eckstein backs up a little bit. But if a ball's not hit hard to where you can double up Valentin, you do have a chance to come home with the slow-footed Delgado.
Rolen had gone 25 straight postseason games without an error. He made an error last night, and he makes one here tonight. Bases loaded, one out. Valentin. Ball one. Bases loaded, one out. Valentin gets a rip. Jose was signed by the Mets to be a bench player. The Mets started this season with Kaz Matsui at second base, but Valentin took over with Matsui injured early and never gave the job back. Fooled by Suppan, strike two.
Good curveball from Jeff Suppan.
The 1-2. Edgardo Alfonzo, who is at the park, he only met with a grand slam in postseason history. One ball, two strikes on Jose Valentin. Time call. Two out and a huge strikeout for Jeff Suppan, and the bases are loaded for Endy Chavez.
Only two strikeouts on the night, and boy, did it ever come at the opportune time for the Cardinals. Another curve gets Valentin.
And now Endy Chavez, who is 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position this postseason, and just took a home run away from Scott Rolen in the top of this sixth inning, is looking for a two-out hit to give his team the lead. Bases loaded, facing Suppan. Pops it into center field. Edmonds is there, and Jeff Suppan with a phenomenal job of pitching around the error by Rolen. Still tied 1-1. Back after this from your local Fox station. With the rain falling here in the top of the seventh inning, a 1-1 game. Bradford takes over for Oliver Perez. So it's 1-1 here in Game 7. And yesterday in our open, Tim, we talked about John Maine in game number 6, and who in game 7? The answer was Oliver Perez, and he was brilliant tonight.
Just a sensational job by the talented left-hander. Backed up his start in game 4.
Yadier Molina first up, took a ball from Bradford.
Not only was he good, but his new best friend is Andy Chavez.
It will be Molina, Belliard, and then the pitcher's spot for St. Louis here in the 7th. That's inside again. It's 2-0. Pedro Feliciano, the lefty. Guillermo Mota is the right-hander.
Andy Chavez has about 57,000 new best friends with that play.
Here's a 2-0. Molina taking. It's a strike. 2-1. Out beyond Andy Chavez is the Cardinal bullpen. And as I look out there, I don't see any action, and there isn't anybody throwing. Even though Suppan is the 3rd scheduled hitter here in the 7th. So far, Suppan has allowed 1 run on 2 hits. Just pitched around an error. That's foul. We invite you to watch the World Series on Fox starting this Saturday night. I live for this. Who will it be? Mets at the Tigers, or a rematch 1934-1968 with the Cardinals and Detroit? 2-2 to Molina. Another foul. In a battle, Bradford. Bradford has been busy. He worked last night, game 6. He worked in game 5 the night before. Sunday night in game 4, he was in the game. Did not get in game 3. Pitched in game 2. He has been relied upon by Willie Randolph. That's up and away, and Molina's having a very good at bat. It's a full count. Eighth pitch of the at-bat.
David Wright, the 3rd baseman, started this at-bat off by being more toward the hole, thinking that Molina would hit the ball up the middle. But as Molina continues to foul balls off in this area right here, Wright has moved closer to the line to try to protect against the double.
Another 3-2, and Molina off balance hits it into the air to Chavez. 1 out. Fooled on the pitch. Molina is gone, and the batter will be Ronnie Belliard.
Second baseman, Ronnie Belliard.
It'll be 1 and done for Bradford as the pitcher's spot is due to lead off in the bottom of this 7th. Suppan on deck. Belliard takes a strike. Five home runs as a Cardinal for Belliard. 8 with Cleveland when he hit .291. Picked up at the trading deadline by Walt Jocketty and the Cardinals to take over second base. Chops it over the head of Bradford. Tough play for Valentin. Good play. 2 out.
Valentin with an excellent jump on that ball, and he had a tricky in-between hop to handle right near the bag. Bradford can't get to it. The hop right there played nicely by Valentin.
A Travelers in sync box score for the Cardinals. The only hits, and there are 4 of them, belong to Eckstein, Edmonds, Molina, and Belliard, who also has the only RBI on a sacrifice bunt, a safety squeeze to tie it in the second. Suppan, strike 1. A bunt and a strikeout for Suppan tonight. A home run in Game 3 against Traxel. Suppan, Reyes to his left, has time, has a great arm, and flips it. Made it awfully close as he goosed it over to first, but the Cardinals go in order. Suppan was hustling down the line. Time to stretch. Here it's Shea. Mets bat. We're tied at 1. This more to see moment is presented by Sharp Aquos Liquid Crystal Television. The catch by Andy Chavez to rob Scott Rowland of a 2-run home run, keep it 1-1, and a hug from his pitcher, Oliver Perez. And 2 curtain calls after the catch. Game 1 of the 2006 World Series coming up on Saturday night. On the air at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Will it be the Cardinals or the Mets to take on the Detroit Tigers? The Cinderella story all year, the feel-good story, and what a postseason they have put together. A 2.92 ERA, 7 straight wins. They lost the first game at Yankee Stadium, took care of the Yankees, went right through the A's 4 in a row. Their last World Series against St. Louis was 1968. Detroit won it 4-3. They have never faced the Mets in World Series play. And with their rotation, whether it's Bonderman or Verlander or Kenny Rogers or Robertson, Zumaya coming out of the pen, Fernando Rodney, Todd Jones closing, are all the thunder they have up and down that lineup, particularly at the bottom. They will be tough for either of these 2 teams to beat starting on Saturday night. Michael Tucker is announced as the pinch hitter for Bradford. And Aaron Heilman gets loose to work in the 8th. Tucker 2 out of 5. In the postseason, takes a breaking ball for a strike. He got a big hit, a stolen base, and scored a run last night.
Detroit Tigers starting off the postseason with that loss to the Yankees. They were prohibitive underdogs, and now they'll be the favorite in the World Series starting on Saturday night.
The 1-1 to Tucker. Fouled off his front foot. 1-2.
Well, there's no doubt that Detroit Tiger team is a very dangerous team, and they're anxiously awaiting to see who wins this game.
And I would say, guys, that the layoff with the young power pitching that the Tigers feature, and because they're young and because the season is so long, giving those guys a chance to rest up, the wrist of Zumaya to get healthy. I know the layoff slows and may stop their momentum offensively, but I think it gives them a chance to recharge all those young flamethrowers that they can bring at either the Mets or Cardinals.
I agree with that. The Chicago White Sox, the reigning world champions, had a 5-day layoff last year before facing the Houston Astros when they clinched it against the LA Angels. And now Michael Tucker having problems after fouling the ball off his right foot. Like the right instep. Yeah, but I think that rest is going to help the Tigers, not hurt them.
The only tough thing out of that is that the players are anxious. These guys have been sitting around. They're waiting. They want to know who they want to play. So they're just sitting home waiting around, waiting for one of these teams to get there. They want them to show up in the city and let them know what Detroit's all about.
Well, now the rain picks up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Said about 11 o'clock. That's 23 minutes away on the scoreboard clock. The rain will pick up in intensity. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tucker. And Subban gives him the same pitch. Tucker fouls it again. Tucker, then Reyes, then Loduca. If anybody gets on, Carlos Beltran. Tucker fouls it out of play. Another 1-2. High, 2-2. Willie Randolph has really kept his hands off this team tonight. He has stayed with the same lineup throughout this series. He left Oliver Perez in the game to get through 6 innings. Tucker flies one in the air to center for Edmonds. And for a young manager, in only his 2nd year with the Mets, his first try in the postseason, he has really taken his hands off the steering wheel a little bit and let his guys go out and play, not trying to make pitching change after pitching change, a lot like he did in the division series against the Dodgers.
I mean, you think about all the things that happened on that one pitch to Rolen. Rolen having problems with the high fastball. We've talked about it throughout the series. He gets a belt-high fastball and hits it hard enough to be out, but the sensational play by Chavez and the double play to end it. Unbelievable.
Reyes homered last night, takes a strike over the outside corner. And then I really credit Subban coming back right after that.
Yep.
Issuing a 1-out walk to Delgado, pitching around the error by Rolen. And with the bases loaded, 1 out, getting Valentin on a strikeout. 2 out here in the 7th, and getting Chavez on a fly out to center.
That was the key, the Valentin strikeout. But he was just marvelous.
And has been all night. There's his 6th inning and how it ended with Chavez getting under 1 to center.
And guys, I'm telling you, I've faced this guy before in Subban. He frustrates you as a hitter because at the end of the night, you feel like you got some good pitches to hit, and you don't get hits off the guy.
Only 2 all night for the Mets. Loduca is 0 for 3. In the 8th inning, St. Louis will have the top of their lineup. Eckstein, Wilson, and Albert Pujols. Chris Duncan is lurking, with Wilson, the number 2 hitter in the inning, coming up. 2 bounces to Eckstein. What a job tonight by Jeff Subban. Could not be doing any more for the Cardinals. It's the 8th inning now. Game number 7, tied at 1 with the top of the order for St. Louis coming up. Now it's Aaron Heilman out of the bullpen for the Mets. 3rd pitcher of the night. Perez 6 innings, a run on 4 hits. Bradford 1 perfect inning, and Heilman will deal with the top of the lineup for the Cardinals. Eckstein has doubled and been hit by a pitch. 1 for 2. Takes the ball low. Heilman worked an inning last night, allowed a hit, struck out a batter. The primary right-handed setup man for Billy Wagner this season. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Something to keep in mind, it is raining lightly. Infield could be very wet on ground balls.
Strike 2 on Eckstein. Spezio has come into the on-deck circle with Wilson, the scheduled hitter. Two and 2. Preston Wilson struck out 3 times tonight. Got the nod from Tony La Russa. Struck out in the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. 2-2 pitch. The opposite way for Delgado. One out in the top of the 8th. And now Spezio will be the hitter for Preston Wilson. Spezio early in this series put his name on the list of postseason stars out of nowhere, although when you think about what he did playing for the Angels back in 2002, maybe we should have expected what Spezio has done. He was outstanding that postseason for the Angels, and he's been good this year for Tony La Russa. With one out, Spezio is fooled on a changeup.
It's unusual for a pinch hitter to come up and face a changeup on the first pitch. But Howman, realizing last night's game, that's how they want to pitch to Spezio, always geared for the fastball.
That skips in there. Remember the last time Spezio was up in a key spot late here at Shea Stadium. It came in game number 2 of this NLCS, and he hit a 2-out 2-run triple to tie the game in the 7th inning. Did that off Mota. Later had an RBI double and a run scored in a 3-run 9th inning. Out in front of a changeup here, and it's 1-2.
And that was the same type of situation as here. Threw him a couple changeups, and Mota tried to come back with a fastball, and that's where Spezio hurt him.
Tried to go away with the fastball. The fastball stayed inside. And that's the pitch on which he hit the triple. I don't think you're going to see a fastball right here. Unless it's off the plate.
Spezio takes outside. 2-2. On deck is Albert Pujols, the reigning National League most valuable player, and a guy who hit 49 home runs during the regular season, has 2 this postseason, 1 in the NLCS for his only RBI. Spezio fooled, but he fouls it back. Part of the order will bat for New York in the bottom of this 8th. Beltran, Delgado, and David Wright. Got him looking.
Heilman coming back with the fastball, and look at Loduca. Wanted it away. It stayed inside.
Loduca peers into his dugout at Willie Randolph. The Mets pitch to Albert Pujols, who takes the ball low. Pujols popped up with 2 on and 2 out in the 5th inning against Oliver Perez. Batting with the bases empty, 2 out. 2-0. Andy Forlora is getting loose with switch hitting Beltran and the lefty Delgado. The first 2 hitters scheduled in the bottom of this 8th. What'll it be on 2-0? Ball 3 as they're being careful with Pujols.
Well, not only are they being careful, but Loduca, every time he set up, he was setting up off the plate.
Now the intentional walk. Second one handed to Pujols tonight. Encarnacion is coming up. The batter in front of Albert Pujols tonight, whether it's been Wilson or Spezio, 4 strikeouts. The batter behind Albert Pujols tonight, Encarnacion, 0 for 3, and he's grounded into a double play.
And if it were anybody else, there would be a pinch runner for Pujols, but Tony La Russa can't guarantee that this is not going to be a tie game. Pujols, remember, nursing a sore right hamstring. He does not run fast.
Change up from Heilman, strike 1 on Encarnacion. Pujols is a guy that the Mets, even with the bad hamstring, are going to pay attention to over at first, and Delgado comes over to talk to Heilman. Pujols stole 7 bases, was 7 of 9 in that category, and if he is feeling like he can get a jump, he will sneak up on you and steal a base.
Well, with Delgado going out there, that serves the purpose. He's telling Heilman, have an idea and make him stop.
Encarnacion went. It's 0-2. Encarnacion hit 19 home runs in his first season with the Cardinals. Has not gone deep in the postseason and has only 2 RBIs in this NLCS. As Tim said, that grass is slick in the outfield. For a hard hit ball, it could skip, get to the wall with Pujols the runner at first.
The outfield playing in their no doubles defense. They're deeper than they normally would be.
Strikes out. The big bats coming up for the Mets. Tie game, 8th inning. This week, Fox NFL Sunday returns with a doubleheader as the Carolina Panthers take on Cincinnati. Then Clinton Portis and the Redskins battle Peyton Manning and the Colts or other regional action. It all begins this week with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Spezio does not take over in left. Instead, Taguchi comes off the bench. He'll bat in the #2 spot. And Suppan back to work. Beltran after a high delivery, strike 1. .100 pitches on the night now for Jeff Suppan. He has allowed 1 run on 2 hits. Kinney and Flores, the right-hander and the left-hander, getting loose. The grounds crew came out with that diamond dust in their rakes before the bottom of this 8th inning, and Suppan slowed him down. He didn't want them to work too much on the mound, where he clearly feels comfortable. Up and away, 2 balls and a strike. Billy Wagner getting loose for the Mets out in their pen. The Mets have not had a hit since the flare hit to right by David Wright for a 2-out RBI in the first inning.
Ideal hitting situation for Beltran.
walk. And here's Delgado. And here comes Tony La Russa. And he calls for Flores. Suppan can be frustrated with his 1-1 game, but should be awfully proud of the way he pitched here in Game 7. Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Bottom of the 8th inning. The Mets with their leadoff man on. Just after 11 o'clock here in the East in the 6th inning. If you're just joining us in a 1-1 game, Endy Chavez did that on the ball hit by Scott Rowland. Instead of a 2-run home run and a 3-1 lead, it turned into an inning-ending double play. Jeff Suppan, brilliant tonight. 7+ innings, 1 run on 2 hits, 4 walks, including the leadoff walk here in the 8th, and 2 strikeouts. These two teams squeezing every bit out of this NLCS that they can. Fighting each other for the chance to face the Tigers in the World Series starting Saturday night. Go ahead, run it first. Nobody out. Delgado up against Randy Flores. Ball 1. A light mist falling here at Shea Stadium as Delgado almost walked right into that pitch. One ball, 1 strike. Delgado with 4 postseason home runs, 3 of them in this series against the Cardinals.
Beltran, a mild threat to run. I say mild because he has a small tear in his abdominal wall that slows him down a bit. 18 stolen bases in 21 tries during the season. Doubtful he'll be running with Delgado up there. Maybe right, but not Delgado.
2 for 2 this postseason stealing bases. Draws another throw. Strike 2 on Delgado. First pitch from Flores up and in. Then a strike. That one back inside, and the count's 1-2. Delgado lays off 2-2. Delgado literally throws his bat at the ball and fouls it to stay up there.
It's the only way you're going to make contact on this pitch. Look at the break on that slider. Delgado staying alive. That ball was 6 to 8 inches outside and about mid-shin high.
David Wright plays bat boy and brings a towel out to Delgado to wipe down the bat. after it skipped across this wet grass. Runner at first, nobody out. Delgado swung, missed, and struck out. One away.
Randy Flores went right back out there. At least as good a pitch as the one before, maybe better. And Delgado can't hold up.
Now Molina will start out toward the mound, stop. And we'll see if Tony La Russa goes to Kinney out of his bullpen with David Wright coming up. On deck is the left-handed hitting Green. The Cardinals like Kinney against left-handed hitters, but so far no sign of La Russa. And Flores will remain in the game.
Something also to consider, Joe, is whether the hit and run will be put on right here. Sometimes when a hitter is struggling, the hit and run's a good ploy, and Molina out to talk to Flores perhaps about that. What a manager tries to do is to get the hitter in a favorable count. 1-0, 2-1.
We talked earlier about Willie Randolph playing it by the book. Tony La Russa, I bet if you ask him, part of his thinking is Flores being a left-handed pitcher trying to keep Beltran close at first.
Right.
David Wright, an RBI single in the first inning on a jam shot into right. 1 for 3 tonight, and only 4 out of 24 for this series. Ball 1.
Well, guys, when you got rain like this, it makes it tough on all position players. Not only are they dealing with the wet grass, but the outfielders, they're playing a lot deeper, no doubles in this situation. And if a ball is hitting the gap, they're not able to cut it off. They have to take a deeper angle to get that ball.
Good speed at first for the Mets, and that's ball 2, 2-0.
Flores missing twice with the breaking ball. He may run right here, but this is not a hit and run situation. 2-0. If it goes to 2-1, that changes things.
Wright tried to hold up, could not. 2-1. Now a count of 2-1. Beltran the runner at first. 1 out, tie game, 8th inning. Three balls and a strike. Tony La Russa staying with the left-hander Flores. Behind on the count to a dangerous hitter, David Wright. 3 balls and a strike. Go ahead, run at first, 1 out.
That was almost a balk. When Flores went into a stretch, there was a mild hesitation right there. You could see that left leg. That was very, very close to a balk on Randy Flores.
David Wright takes strike 2. Full count.
Breaking ball to right, and in almost every situation like this during the season, the Mets sent the runner. So look for him to run right here.
Stays put, Wright strikes out, 2 down. So now Tony La Russa pulls the right string. He leaves Flores out on the mound, fell behind Wright 3-1, and came back and struck him out.
And if he was running on that 3-2 pitch, Then Molina throws out Beltran. So Randolph does not send it. And Wright goes down on strikes.
In the 9th inning, St. Louis will send Edmonds, Rolen, and Molina to the plate, and Wagner continues to throw. Remember, he came on in the 9th inning of Game 2 with a game tied at 6 and gave up 3 runs.
I was both surprised and wrong that he wasn't running.
Now 2 out and Sean Green. Acquired on August 24th. What a rip. He was trying to untie it with 1 swing at strike 1.
Tim, I think you're right. He would have been running normally, but David Wright's been struggling so much at the plate. And with Molina back there, he didn't want to take a chance and have a double play.
A walk, back-to-back strikeouts. Green to first. That's a fair ball, and that's the end of the 8th inning. The Mets still do not have a hit since the 1st inning, and they have stranded 8 runners on. We've played 8. What a Game 7, tied at 1. Coming down the stretch, the Cardinals did not know what to expect out of Jim Edmonds in the postseason. Bothered by myriad injuries, he's played in every game so far the postseason for Tony La Russa. Because after a high changeup, strike 1. Tonight, a single run scored. He's flied out and walked. And this is a guy that from the 26th of August until the 25th of September didn't play in a game. Post-concussion syndrome. He had a bad foot. He still has the bad foot. His head is cleared up. And he takes a strike over the outside corner, 1-2.
Heilman has not thrown a breaking ball yet in his 1+ innings. Excellent changeup. Hitters swing at that arm motion.
Edmonds with 13 career postseason home runs. Is fooled, strikes out, 1 away in the 9th. 3rd strikeout for Aaron Heilman in an inning and a 3rd.
Tell you with that changeup, but look at the arm motion, and when the hitter comes forward, it strips him of his power. You bring hands forward and you're dead.
Scott Rowland now. Last time he was up, hit a ball near the 358 mark in left field, over the wall, and he was robbed on a spectacular catch by Endy Chavez, who turned it into a double play. 0-2. You're just joining us. Tie game, 6th inning. This and then that. To Rowland. Just got a piece. The Mets in the bottom of this 9th inning will have Valentin, Chavez, and then the pitcher's spot. Not 1 RBI this postseason for Scott Rowland. Ball 1.
That catch, by the way, of Eric Chavez was right in front of that sponsored sign in left field. The strength to be there, and was he ever there? Endy Chavez, I beg your pardon.
Down and in, 2-2. Rowland during the regular season hit 22 home runs, drove home 95. 5 of 31 this postseason. Just missed. And it's a full count.
Just missed, and Rolen just held up.
Whoa. Rolen way out in front on that. Wheeled on it and hit it into the Cardinal dugout. Jeff Weaver went down the steps after that foul ball. I don't know if it caught the Cardinal pitcher or not, but that was a vicious ball back into the dugout. That's foul. It's like Rolen is trying to guess along with the pitcher Heilman and starting that swing a little earlier. He's been too early on the last 2 pitches.
And Heilman's worked him in and out, so it's made it a lot difficult for him to sit on one pitch.
Hard hit, base hit. Rolen is on with 1 out here in the 9th inning. So Rolen, for all the talk about his shoulder and his relationship with Tony La Russa, which we have gone through here tonight and has been dissected by the media this postseason, was robbed of a home run and now hits a sharp single through the left side. He's the go-ahead run on here in the 9th inning. Yadier Molina hitting 1 spot higher than he has this postseason for La Russa. Molina 1 for 3. Six home runs during the regular season, 49 RBIs, hit only .216. Coming into this game, a .351 career hitter on the road during the postseason. Hitting 7th tonight. He hits it in the air to left field. Back is Chavez. At the wall, this ball is gone. 2-run home run, Yadier Molina. And St. Louis takes a 3-1 9th inning Game 7 lead. Hitting 1 spot higher in the lineup, and he follows Rolen's base hit with his 2nd postseason home run this year.
It looked like a letter-high changeup, and it kept carrying and carrying and carrying.
Now Belliard chops one to the left of Reyes, makes a nice play for out number 2.
Well, really, Molina's been the hottest hitter all postseason for this Cardinal team. There he gets a fastball out over the plate and deposits it in.
That's Belliard's ground ball mixed in. Meanwhile, the home run, as Tim said, just kept on carrying, got under it. And the Cardinals dugout begging it to carry out. And it did. And Molina, with 6 regular season home runs this year, hits his 2nd of the postseason.
In front of a stunned Shea Stadium crowd.
Heilman gives it up. Now Rodriguez will bat for Randy Flores, who pitched a scoreless 8th inning and is in line for the victory if Adam Wainwright can hang on. Wainwright is the rookie closer for St. Louis. Getting loose for the Cardinals out in their bullpen. Rodriguez takes ball 1 from Heilman. Again, bottom of the order for the Mets in the bottom of the 9th. Valentin, Chavez, and then a pinch hitter. Molina with the biggest swing of his life as Rodriguez is fooled by a changeup. It's 1-1. 2 out. Rodriguez takes ball 2. Two and 2.
Well, and I can tell you right now that Cardinals dugout is thinking no less than let's just go out there and get 3 quick outs.
It will be up to the rookie Adam Wainwright in the bottom of this 9th. Meanwhile, Rodriguez with 2 down. Browns to the right side. Delgado, a race to the bag, and Heilman is there for the out. Tony La Russa moving Yadier Molina 1 spot up in the lineup tonight. He said he's just swinging it better. For the Cardinals, that swing couldn't have been any better. A 3-1 lead, Game 7, into the bottom of the 9th at Shea. Prior to coming in and getting the final outs of the division series, Adam Wainwright, who took over for Jason Isringhausen, a former Met, had a conversation with Isringhausen in the bullpen before he headed out to get the outs against San Diego. He said, relax, slow down. And then he said, have you ever been mobbed on a mound before in your life? He said, go make that happen. Wainwright got the final outs. He has been brilliant in this postseason. His first try as a closer. The first pitch is up and away to Valentin, ball 1. Jose Valentin, Andy Chavez, then a pinch hitter. 3-1 St. Louis, 9th inning, and a high strike, 1-1.
Valentin thought it was high. Willie Randolph thought it was above the letters.
Valentin 0 for 2, struck out in key spot in the 6th inning with the bases loaded, 1 out against Suppan. Breaking ball stays up and away, 2-1.
Tony La Russa telling Yadier Molina, slow him down.
Two and 2 on Valentin.
It's easier said than done when you got a young kid up there realizing that he's 3 outs away from going to his first World Series.
This postseason, 2 saves, 5 2/3 scoreless innings, no walks, 8 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright. Full count. Valentin floats one to shallow center. Belliard can't get there. And the Mets have their leadoff man on in the 9th.
Excellent at bat by Valentin, working the count to 3 and 2, got a predictable fastball and gets a base hit.
Now Andy Chavez.
The bunt for a base hit, certainly an option here. Chavez has tried to bunt for a hit several times during the postseason, successful on 1.
Chavez 1 for 18 with runners on base in this postseason.
Tony La Russa telling Albert Pujols, be careful of the bunt down the first baseline.
Ball 1. And Molina wants to go calm down Adam Wainwright. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wainwright, a 25-year-old right-hander from Brunswick, Georgia. Grew up only wanting to pitch for the Atlanta Braves and was drafted by the Atlanta Braves. Back in 2000, a base hit by Chavez. And the Mets have put their first 2 on here in the 9th.
Chris Floyd was on deck. He'll be called back, or will he be called back? He was called back by Willie Randolph. So we'll see whether Floyd, nursing that Achilles problem on his left ankle, will be called upon to bunt. Compelling.
Duncan out to talk. Tying runs are on at first and second, nobody out. Typically, you hear Tim's team say you play for the tie at home, but instead of sending somebody up there more adept at bunting like a Woodward or an Anderson Hernandez, Adam Wainwright will be in a battle with Cliff Floyd.
Well, I tell you what, this has been an exciting Game 7 to have out there.
No sacrifices this year for Cliff Floyd. Has not shown the ability to run in this series. So a double play threat if he hits it on the ground. 2 on, nobody out. 94 miles per hour, strike 1.
Also by allowing Floyd to swing away. The chance of a double play if he hits it at somebody is great because he can't run.
One ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Floyd thought it was high.
Cardinals get the call. Borderline pitch.
Adam Wainwright, a starter throughout his minor league career. Made the Cardinal team out of spring training as a setup reliever. Now trying to close out Game 7 of the NLCS. 1-2 pitch. Throw down to first, and safe is Andy Chavez.
That's the one thing you have to look for with Molina behind the plate. He had 7 pickoffs this year, 17 pickoffs for his career as Pujols sneaks behind Chavez.
And he loves doing it with the left-handed hitter up there and a fat ball inside.
Yeah, the runner at first can't see him.
Now a 2-2 count. Big swing by Floyd, 2-2.
Looking fastball, he got it out in front.
Yeah, right now, Floyd's just telling himself to slow his heart rate down. Take a deep breath, relax in there. Everybody in the stadium standing on their feet expecting him to try to hit a home run right here.
The 2-2. Breaking ball struck him out looking.
After 5 straight fastballs, no left-hander would have had a chance on that. Nobody.
The rookie with confidence in that breaking ball. Dropping it in for strike 3, and now Jose Reyes, who can fly, who has power, who homered last night, hit 19 during the regular season. 2 on, 1 out. 3-1 St. Louis in the 9th. Ball 1. The 25-year-old throwing to the 23-year-old. Breaking ball, strike 1.
That's a great pitch right there for Wainwright, because everybody's so geared up on his fastball. When you throw that the curveball, guys are out in front. They're trying to load up for the fastball, and it throws their timing off.
73-mile-an-hour curveball after a mid-90s fastball. The 1-1. Strike 2.
So Reyes right now has to be thinking he's got a good fastball, but he's throwing his curveball for strikes. He just struck Floyd out on a curveball.
Reyes 0 for 4 tonight. Just got a piece of another curveball.
You've heard that expression, the 12-6 curveball. That's what Wainwright possesses. Ball really goes down, tightly wrapped. One of the better curveballs in the National League.
Breaking ball is hit in the air to center field. Edmonds is there for the out. Throw behind the runner. Too late. 2 down. And now the New York Mets, team that tied the Yankees with the best record in baseball this season of 97-65, are down to their final chance. 2 out. 2 on. And Loduca at the plate.
Reyes got a hold of perhaps the worst curveball that Wainwright has thrown during the postseason. A real hanger. He hit it hard, but Edmonds was there.
The Cardinals with the fewest wins of any team in the postseason this year. Stumbled down the stretch, 22-28. Almost coughed up a 7.5-game lead. They held on. They outlasted Houston. And here they are, 1 out away from a trip to Detroit for the World Series. Loduca. Ball 1. On deck is Beltran, who has owned Cardinal pitching in LCS play. Loduca 0 for 4 tonight. One and 1.
That looked like a slider from Wainwright. That's his 3rd best pitch. Loduca's surprised, and so are we.
One ball, 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out. 3-1 St. Louis in the bottom of the 9th. Two and 1. The 2-1 pitch is high, 3-1. One more out of the strike zone, and Wainwright will put the tying run in scoring position with Beltran coming up. Loduca sitting on a pitch with a count 3-1. The bases are loaded. 2 hits and a walk. And it's up Beltran. There are the numbers in LCS play for Beltran against the Cardinals, and Anderson Hernandez will come off the bench and run at first base for Loduca.
Well, they always say the toughest out in baseball is the last out.
Wainwright learning that in his first crack at being a closer in the big leagues. And he has to go through Beltran to try and wrap up this LCS. Beltran could tie it with a hit, win it for the Mets, and send New York to the World Series with an extra base hit. Bases loaded, 2 out. Strike 1. Strike 2.
Fastball for the first pitch. Curveball fouled off the right foot of Beltran.
Two quick strikes on Carlos Beltran with the bases loaded, 2 out. The Mets down by 2. Breaking ball struck him out, and the Cardinals have won the pennant. Molina leaps into the arms of Adam Wainwright as the rookie closer strikes out Beltran looking with the bases loaded, and the Cardinals celebrate before their trip to Detroit. The Cardinals getting the offense in the top of the 9th inning from the unlikely source of Yadier Molina, who's been good this postseason, hit only .216 during the regular year. 6 home runs all season. A 2-run shot in the 9th inning to put St. Louis on top, and then he squeezed the final strike on a breaking ball from Wainwright, and this game ends 3-1. And this NLCS ends in Game 7 with that pitch from Adam Wainwright. Shock and disbelief here at Shea Stadium. They saw a beautifully played ball game into the 9th inning. They watched Molina go deep, loaded him up, but could not get the hit from Beltran. A final of 3-1 here in Game 7.
The remarkable catch by Indy Chavez in the 6th inning off the bat of Scott Rowland. Worth another shot. Turned it into a double play.
But you cannot say enough about the pitching that Jeff Suppan provided the Cardinals with in this game, as Rowland and La Russa come together with a hug. Suppan made the start. Flores gets the win, and Wainwright gets the save. Let's go down to Chris Myers with Scott Rowland.
On a rain-soaked field, St. Louis, you could go crazy, Scott. Tumultuous year for you, this team. Congratulations, you're going to the World Series.
Yeah, it's great. This is a group that a lot of people didn't give a lot of credit, and it's a good group of guys. We played hard, and you know, we're excited to move on. You know, we can't wait to get to Detroit.
You had the hit. You were on base when Molina hit the home run. What did you see from where you were?
Well, I wasn't sure how far I was going to carry. I was going to try to go back, make sure I was close enough that I could tag up and get to second base if he was camped underneath it, and the ball kept carrying and went out of the ballpark.
All right, and obviously you had one when you thought you had a home run. Chavez made an amazing catch.
A little tumultuous inning for number 27 right there in the 6th. I get a home run robbed, and then I throw a ball and hit the bull over in the stands. So yeah, it was a tough inning, a lot of emotions out there. We came back and got it done.
We saw you hug Tony La Russa. I guess you guys are on speaking terms. Are things over with?
Yep.
All right, thanks, Scott. Joe?
All right, Chris, thank you very much. So Rowland gets on base. Molina hits the home run. And this game ends final of 3-1. St. Louis gets the victory in Game 7. And I said earlier that these two teams trying to squeeze everything they can out of this NLCS. And they did just that. This game ends in the 9th inning with the bases loaded for New York. Fans file out of Shea Stadium, and the St. Louis Cardinals will represent the National League in the World Series on Saturday night in Detroit. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Here with Adam Wainwright. Adam, bases loaded, crowds roaring, 2 outs in the 9th, ultimate Cardinal killer Beltran at the plate. What's going through your mind?
I can't let my team down right there. I just wanted to be good for them today. I wanted to go out there and battle my butt off, and luckily I was able to come through there, man. I don't know. I made it interesting more than I wanted to, but we got the job done and we won the game.
How much were you thinking about the moment at hand, that this World Series was at stake?
Well, I stepped off several times and said, you know what, I'm moving really slow right now, but I gotta go with everything I have to the plate. Got to get my senses about me and thinking, you know what, I got to come through for this team right now. This city deserves it. Our team deserves it. We battled so hard in the playoffs, so I just wanted to be good right there.
How inspiring was it for you to see Suppan do what he did tonight?
Gamer. That was the game right there. We had 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and he got out of it. He got out of it right there with the big bangers up there. So I can't say enough about the job he's done this whole postseason. He's been a warrior for us.
Adam, thank you very much. Go back to you.
All right, thank you, Ken. Our Chevrolet player of the game. As you see the celebration begin in the Cardinal clubhouse. Chevy, an American Revolution, and it's Yadier Molina with a 2-run home run in the top of the 9th inning to put St. Louis on top, as it turned out for good. The Cardinals depended on Molina tonight. Log on to worldseries.com/Fox Sports and vote for your most dependable player of the postseason and a chance to win Chevy's most dependable truck, the all-new Silverado. We'll come back with the presentation of the trophy to the Cardinals as they have stamped their ticket to Detroit. Back after this from your local Fox station.
Welcome to the Chevy post-game show on Fox. Trophy presentation right around the corner, but first, this. The final out. 5 days after winning the ALCS, the Tigers finally find out who stands in their way of their first World Series championship since 1984. Would you believe? The St. Louis Cardinals, Kevin Kennedy.
I would believe it with Adam Wainwright getting that backdoor curveball right there. Great job defensively, too, by Yadier Molina. I know he hit a couple of home runs. Hitting this series was great. But if you notice that last pitch, how he emphasized get the ball down, he did that all series long. And Adam Wainwright backdoor the curveball. You know what? The Cardinals had the game plan. We talked yesterday about that. Backdoor curveballs to the lefties, fastballs up and in. Pretty basic, but they executed, and the Mets did not make adjustments tonight.
The two teams in the postseason that had the worst records of the last 50 games of the regular season are the two teams that we are going to see in the World Series.
Well, Jeannie, you know how I feel about stats.
Yes,
whenever I hear that
this
stuff,
one's
you
gone.
throw
I just
it out there. Thank you very much.
Didn't have a window, but it went away.
It's great to talk about, but it's historical information. I think the whole irony of this thing is La Russa facing Jim Leyland, their best friends.
Couple of buddies getting together again on the World Series stage, and we're not done as promised. The trophy presentation. Let's go back out to Shea Stadium.
All right, thanks, Jeannie. In a clubhouse with champagne spraying, MVP Jeff Suppan just got soaked. Congratulations. Honorary National League President Bill Giles here to present the MVP award.
All year you were tough against the Mets, but you were phenomenal. You pitched 2 superb games. Congratulations, and now go beat the Tigers, will you?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, National League MVP. All right, a few words on the way to gut it out.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm speechless right now. I never thought in a million years I'd be in a situation to win this award, and I'm just very thankful. And I want to give all my teammates, it was a team effort, of course, and we all battled hard, and it's just a great honor.
Jeff, just to talk about the kind of year it was, almost a great collapse, barely getting in at least, and then being underdogs, now you're going to the World Series. How does this team, how do you get through all that?
I tell you what, there's always peaks and valleys, you know, and I think we were able today and the whole year to make them planes, and I think that was the key. I think we never gave up. We always believed in ourselves, and I'm just proud to be a part of the team.
I know you'll be celebrating, but you'll be underdogs again in the World Series. You're all right with that, right?
One day at a time.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Right, terrific pitching performance from Jeff Suppan, the MVP, and we do have the owner, Mr. Bill DeWitt, who will be joining us on stage with Mr. Giles. Congratulations. We will have the official presentation of the National League Trophy. So we have Walt Jocketty, general manager, 12 years on the job, third most tenured. Congratulations, Walt. Tony La Russa, Tony, want to step up here? Nice job, Tony. Okay, Mr. Giles, go ahead, the presentation.
It's an amazing feat. You know, this is the second time in 3 years I've been doing this.
Well, it certainly doesn't get old, I'll tell you that. What a great night and a great series, and tip our hats to the Mets. They played great, and, you know, we just barely beat them at the end, which was exciting.
Well, I congratulate you and Walt and Tony, the whole organization, and I'm proud again to present my dad's trophy, the Warren C. Giles Trophy, to the 2006 National League champion St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, I want to thank our great fans for helping make this possible, and, of course, our manager here, Tony La Russa. Walt did a great job again this year, and we were counted out a lot of times here, but we pulled it out in the end, so it's really a great day for the Cardinals.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Mr. DeWitt, born and raised in St. Louis. Tony, going back to the World Series, but what a year, huh? Does it wear you out? What a game. What a terrific Game 7.
Well, you know, there's so many things that you think about at the time. It was a really hard year for us. We had our moments. But, you know, one thing I think is, you know, there's a kind of rule of thumb. You're not a good club to win 90 games. Today we finally won our 90th game. So I think we're a good club. But that game befitted the last game, the 7th game of a championship series. That was a great game. And as Bill said, congratulations to the Mets. I mean, it was a very even series. We just happened to have the last thing.
And I was just in Detroit where Jim Leyland, he said, you know, working with you in the Cardinal organization gave him the desire to manage again. He's a good friend of yours. You talk on a regular basis. You'll be facing him now, and one of you will be the first. Well, you'll join Sparky Anderson to win a World Series, right? Whoever wins this in each league.
Well, one of the two teams is going to win it, and that's going to be the focus, I guarantee you, Jim and I have. It's going to be Tigers against the Cardinals. Whoever plays the best wins.
Okay, thanks again, Tony La Russa. Congratulations. Albert Pujols giving him a hug. And Albert, if you could just, for the fans watching, St. Louis across America, soaked in champagne, congratulations. So what a series and what a tough Game 7, out in the rain, on the road, but you came through.
Definitely. I mean, it's just, it was just a tough game, but, you know, you have a great team out there. We need to take their car. They're playing hard. It was a great series. I remember 2004, you know, playing against Houston. I mean, you have a great team out there. But, you know, we come out with a win, and I'm just really excited for Yadier, man. What a big hit for us.
Yadier Molina delivering the home run. Was there a point in the season that things turned for this team where you said that we are good enough to get to the World Series?
Well, I think people outside this club were reading us wrong. You know, we weren't supposed to be here in the playoff. We were supposed to be out in the first round. And obviously, we climbed. It was ugly how we made it to the playoff. But, hey, we're here in the World Series, and we're going to try our best. You know, we're still the underdog.
A thought on facing the Tigers?
they're tough. That's all I can tell you. They can hit. They can fly out hit. I'm just really excited, you know, because I have my compadre and that side, you know, in Detroit. And if he, you know, he's going to be pushing for me, I'm going to be pushing for him, you know. And whoever gets the rim and play the game the best, you know, we both going to be excited, you know, because he had a great year. He had a great playoff run right now. And, you know, I just wish him the best. And every time I see him and whoever plays the best wins, you know, the World Series. So I'm just really excited that I can go see him tomorrow. So.
All right, great. Congratulations again. All right, we'll see you Saturday night in Detroit. Ken Rosenthal on the other side with Mets manager Willie Randolph as the Cards pull the upset.